Let's say I'm the artist. I sell this art to you today, and then 10 years later, I become famous, and I sold it to you for $5, right? Today. What I sold you for, let's say $5, $10, you could potentially sell it for millions of dollars to someone. If you do that, I don't get paid a dime because I already sold it to you. You own it, right?
Yeah.
Versus now with NFTs, now every time you sell it, I actually get paid too. I get paid somewhere around 3 to 10%. Typically, it's actually 3 to 6%, but you could do up to 10% royalties for the rest of my life. I'm going to get that.
You're listening to the Rich State of Mind Show, the podcast made to make you the total package in the entrepreneurial world and give you what we call a rich state of mind. If you are here looking to learn about real estate investing, marketing, elevating your business, and developing your mindset to get to the next level, then you are at the right place. Stay tuned and be sure to join our community on richstateofmind.com. Now here's your host, Anthony Ritchie.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the episode of Rich State of Mind where I'm talking to Arvin Khamseh. He's always been at the forefront of new tech trends from biohacking to internet marketing. Arvin knows where to invest his time. So when the NFT wave came along, he naturally fit in that market. Because of his early interest into the market, Arvin is one of the few established thought leaders in the NFT space. He has consulted with over 200 plus NFT brands and has partnered with Reddit, Twitter. His two largest NFT projects, Sands Vegas Casino Club and Meta Legends, both sold out. The Sands project made $7 million in 20 hours, and the Mega project made an astonishing $12 million in 20 hours, and even received celebrity attention. So Arvin, he's excited to help lead the conversation around NFTs and is a highly sought after guest, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to him. And we haven't talked about NFTs yet, not in detail at least. He is soon to be featured in the USA Today, Forbes, and Business Insider. So if you could please enjoy this episode with Arvin, please also subscribe to us on our different platforms, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And always, please enjoy. Hey, Arvin, thank you for taking the time. On this episode, we're talking about NFTs. So new topic, new face, obviously. Never had you on the podcast before, so I'm definitely excited. So if you could please just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Cool. Yeah. So my name is Arvin. I got into marketing back in 2012. I was introduced to cryptocurrencies in 2016. Good friend of mine from actually Ukraine. He's safe and sound, I know. In about, I want to say a few years later, 2021, I was approached by an artist from Italy, and he already knew, I have experience in investor relationship marketing with public companies, Fortune 500 companies, running 500K plus a month advertising and spending. And then he approached me for his collection. He's a painter, and he had 10 digital arts, and he wanted to sell it. I helped him sell out. Literally, that was the beginning of my journey into NFT marketing myself. But prior to that, about a year before that, I was still doing trading NFTs myself. So that's how I got into it. Just had that proof of concept. And then since then, I worked with about 400 NFT brands. Some of them hit number one trending on IC Tools, number one trending on OpenSea, top 40 in the world, so on and so forth.
So what is your role? You are like the middleman. You help facilitate and get their art out there so that people can get the highest price.
Yeah. So what I do is, so I'm their chief marketing officer. What I do is I help them grow their communities. And once they build these communities, then these are the people who are going to buy NFTs from them. These are the people who actually give the value to the NFT itself.
And how long does it take to build a community?
So it's fascinating. It's somewhere around 2 to 4 weeks, which is really,
okay.
Yeah, which is very, very short. I have experience managing influencers in the past, and they would spend years to build a following. Yeah. But now in 2 to 4 weeks, we go from 0 to 70K, 80K people in Discord, on Twitter, and sell out.
And is that the I guess you could say the space of what the NFT crowd is in. They're mostly in Discord and Twitter.
And Twitter, yeah, those are the two platforms. On Instagram too, because of the artists, but majority of NFT owners or people who are into NFTs, they are on. We actually surveyed. So for Frog was one of the brands I helped. They sold out in 7 minutes. We surveyed every owner of their NFTs yesterday actually, and we surveyed about 140 people, and out of those, they said Twitter was number one. Is the platform that they spend time on, and then Instagram was number two.
Do you happen to know what is it about Twitter as to why that's where the most of the guys are at?
Yeah, I mean, initially back in 2015, when all this NFT stuff started, that's where it started. It was on Twitter, and then Jack Dorsey, founder, is it founder? I think it's founder or CEO. I don't know. CEO of the Twitter. He talked a lot about NFTs on Twitter, and so he also did his like contribution into this community. So I think he contributed a ton for a lot of people in tech. And also, if you think about it, like the teams for NFTs are typically a developer. So a lot of people in the blockchain, they have that understanding of blockchain. And then there's an artist. So artists are typically on Instagram, but then where everything happens is typically Twitter, because a lot of times artists don't even have the knowledge of blockchain or how to market their NFT. So they have the art, but that's all they know. And then they connect with someone else on Twitter. Typically, those are the people who have the knowledge and experience with blockchain.
So I guess let's bring it back a little bit. So NFT, non-fungible token, and the thing that makes it cool is that nobody can replicate it. It has its own serial code to it, right?
Right.
And so why would I, as an artist, instead of just drawing in and probably selling it at an art gallery, why would I want to sell it as an NFT?
Okay, many reasons. One is, let's say I'm the artist. I sell this art to you today, and then 10 years later, you sell it for a larger price. Let's say I become famous, and I sold it to you for $5, right, today. But I become really famous in 10 years. And what I sold you for, let's say $5, $10, now you could potentially sell it for millions of dollars to someone, right? And if you do that, I don't get paid a dime because I already sold it to you. You own it, right? Yeah. Versus now with NFTs, now every time you sell it, I actually get paid too. I get paid somewhere around 3 to 10%. Typically, it's actually 3 to 6%, but you could do up to 10% royalties for the rest of my life. I'm going to get that.
And who facilitates the transactions? Like, who makes sure you get your royalties?
So this is all written in the blockchain. So it actually executes automatically
into your crypto wallet.
Yep. Hopefully my crypto wallet stays the same, but yeah. Yeah.
And then that's when I'm able to, it is no longer non-fungible. Now I can transfer into actual currency once those royalties.
Yeah, you can. And so that's like one of the reasons, right? There are many other reasons too. So a lot of times, like, let's say artists have things circulating around the internet. Let's say it could be an image. It's like, let's say a painting or whatever. So just like you said, someone take a screenshot and then you don't know who owns it, right? And so that verification, the ownership of things, that's possible with NFTs because it's all written in the blockchain. There's a timestamp, who owned it, who sold it first, who sold it last, so on and so forth. These are all transparent. So there are many other reasons too. I mean, think about the artists where now, especially, I'm actually really interested right now in the music industry too. I haven't worked with any artists in the music yet. I'm actually talking with a few people this week, but the interesting part is like they had to go to like these like record labels and pay them a lot of money because they didn't have the communities themselves. But now with NFTs, you build your own community, you sell it to them, and you own everything, right? So now like artists are basically creating communities on a new level so it's faster and it's also, and they own everything. So that's really cool for them, right? So there are many other reasons too, but those are, I would say, most important ones.
I guess if they sell their song, they sell their song to the record label. Yep. Okay, boom, profit. Now, in order for them to make money, the record label has to sell the song, or it's going to be based off the streams their royalties be based off how much that song streams.
Yeah, and then also the deal that they make is typically like, they don't have the complete ownership of like what they want to produce, right? Sometimes they have to like do things that the label is asking them to do because like what's good for them, right? So the label is just like, hey, I've done all these like cool people, all these like famous people that like, you don't have a say here. Like I'm the one that actually producing things. I'm the one actually bringing the communities, right? But we're changing that. So now artists, they're like on their own, they do whatever they want, which is really cool. And that's not just in music, like in, let's say even, I guess another point would be sometimes, people would, let's say artists would have their art, but they were never known because they didn't have the community. But now they're actually learning how to, because of the NFTs, right? They're learning how to build the communities fairly quickly. And then they can sell their art for a large price where they weren't able to in the past. And the reason is because it just gets really hypey, and also like it gets marketed to really well with a community around it. And then it actually has value now. And in the past, let's say they were no one, right? No one knew who they were. And then so they couldn't sell anything.
So we talked about, what it takes or building a community in 2 to 4 weeks. You mentioned in your topics about mass messaging, and is it shilling can be detrimental to your project. So what is that? How do you do on that?
Yeah, so this is like a running joke in my Discord server. For every single person that I meet, every single brand that I meet, I specifically tell them, I say, hey, listen, there are certain things you should not do because it won't do you any good, right? So that's hiring someone from overseas for about, let's say, $4 an hour to actually come in and like go to different Discord servers, go to different Twitter channels and talk with people and just say, hey, basically spamming them, right? Just say, hey, like join our project because our project is so cool, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So that's called shilling. Now, there's different types of shilling. That specific type is the one that I'm very much against. And then also mass DM too, again, as the name suggests, hence the name, you're just sending DMs, so direct messages to people on Twitter and Discord on a large volume, so hence mass. And it's spammy. First of all, a lot of companies who offer this, they don't even send it. They just take your money. They don't even send it because they can't. Like there are a lot of rules now on Discord. But even when they send it, you end up with lots of people who are not really interested in your project. So you have the vanity, you have a lot of numbers. Let's say you've got like 10,000, 20,000 people in your Discord, but then you get surprised on the day of the minting where like people are actually going to buy. You get surprised because they're not going to buy. And I've had this many, many times where projects come to me, like NFT founders come to me and they're like, we failed. And I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out why. And then when we actually look at like how they build their communities, these are the two ways that I actually build their communities. So they get like a lot of fake people. And also like on top of that, another thing people do, and this is not just in NFT community, this is like true for all influencers. There's this misconception that if you don't have any followers, no one wants to be the first, right? And so what they do, they just get like, they buy, let's say 10,000, 20,000 followers or 10,000 people on their Discord. And then thinking, okay, if we have this many people, then everyone who sees it, they're going to be like, oh, these guys are legit, I'm going to join, right? And it's so not true, because what happens is everyone's smart. So like people are not stupid. They see that you've got 10,000 people on your Twitter, and then you get like 4 likes every time you post. They're actually going to say, wow, either the content sucks or they just bought it, right?
Yeah.
And it just backfires on people. But then I was interviewed on Entrepreneur last week. The biggest thing I think is missing is like the business acumen. So people don't have that. They don't think about these things. They don't think like people are not dumb, like they're going to find out like you just bought a lot of followers. And so I think that is a really big reason why a lot of brands actually fail. And so what I do with them, first thing when I work with people, I say, like, this is your time to confess. Tell me all these things you've done. And then if they have bought followers, we're going to purge it. We're going to actually remove them one by one from Twitter, from Discord, and then build it from scratch. Like that's literally how my process works.
No, I love the fact that you brought that up about, buying followers. it's okay to have 500 loyal customers, fans, Bryce having 50,000 and like you said, 4 likes and stuff like that. People do notice. I notice it. I notice it on YouTube, Instagram, even people's Facebook groups. I've noticed you got 10,000 people in a group, but it's like only 2 people posting. Like, what's going on? Right. I expect higher engagement, and that's what it is. You're looking for engagement. The Discord. So I'm on Discord. I have a group of gaming buddies, and then another one I have a group of podcasters that I do a masterclass with. So that's the extension of my Discord. And in Twitter, I just got back on Twitter, but it's funny. I thought Twitter would be dead by now because of how how many features are on Instagram and Facebook. But people are still using Twitter very heavily. I mean, and it's funny as hell too. It's pretty funny and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like witty. It's like it's just like a 1 line, 2 lines. It's witty. It's like it's cool. Yeah, and
I think that's what it is. That's why I asked you earlier. What is the Twitter crowd? Because I've been on Twitter on Twitter since 2009.
Yeah,
and so who's on there now? Like, is it like it's not the TikTok generation? Is it like the in between? Like,
yeah, well, a lot of people in tech, and then politicians, anything controversial that happens is on Twitter.
This is true. Yeah, this is true. Once somebody makes a controversial tweet, that is the first thing now, hey, this person made a controversial Facebook post.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. All right. And so when it comes to building the brand, so you're doing this all in 2 to 4 weeks. What are you doing to build a brand? What are some key things?
Magic. Yeah. So like what we do is essentially, well, there are a lot of things not to do. And also, so mass DM and, shilling, we talked about a little bit, but what I like to do is paid ads and paid influencers. And now that, I mean, we could talk about that for days, but as for influencers, because of just the same reasons we were talking about, there are a lot of also influencers that are fake. So they're out there. Like, I give you one example. There's this guy, it's in my social circle. We know him. And then he has millions of followers on this, on Instagram, but it's not NFT followers. He changed the name of his handle to NFT something. And then people that go on his channel, they're under the impression that he has like millions of followers that are related to NFTs. So he charges 100K per post but he doesn't have actually NFT followers. So, and people don't know that. So it sucks. I mean, we think we are like, those influencers go to hell, but hey, you know what I mean? Like, it's what it is. Like,
oh my God, 100K per post.
Yeah. So that's what it is. But so what I say is like, there's a distinction between a promoter and an influencer. So promoters are like people who are just doing these, essentially what is called a shilling, or like just essentially promoting every day. They don't have any content. Literally, they have zero content. Every day, they're just like, we're doing this giveaway. This other giveaway. This brand is really cool. This other brand is also really cool. And then, like every day they're just getting paid for all these things that they're posting, and they're just pumping it through their account. Mm-hmm. So that's not an influencer. They literally have zero influence. And even when you get people coming from those accounts, they typically don't buy. They're just coming for the giveaways, and then they leave. We had on Discord, there was like I don't know if you've ever seen, like you could have like channels that are like different languages, and then we had one that was specific language, but it wasn't English, right? So we wouldn't necessarily understand it. But what we did was we actually went with the Google Translate, and we translated everything that they were talking about. Everyone was talking about how they want to get this giveaway and then leave. And so like, so this is what happens if you get like an influencer that's not legit, right? Now, on the other hand, an influencer who has content and actually is like very concerned about like who they're bringing on or who they're talking about, they typically take 5 days, 6 days to actually review the content from NFT projects. They actually, most of them right now, they want the NFT projects to be doxed, meaning they need to actually expose who they are as a team, not just like hiding behind their NFT projects. And then And then it takes about 5-6 days until they actually produce the content, and then another 5-6 days until like they get the approval, produce everything, and then just do like post-production. So actually it's like a process, versus promoters like, here's my wallet, send me some money, I'll post it tomorrow. Like that's what it is, right? And so that's as far as the influencers. And I like to have them first week get like a burst of influencers coming in, and just a bunch of them talking about it. Like for example, Women of Crypto had like 10,000 people in their Discord first 3 days when they opened it, right? So that's just from influencers. So that's the kind of like standard I like to have for NFT brands. And then toward the end, also I like to do influencers as well. If you could do big influencers, perfect. But if not, like at least like medium size. And then so that's as far as the influencers. And then paid ads, typically we do it on Twitter. We do it on Reddit, Quora, Instagram, and YouTube. So all those platforms.
You could do paid ads on Reddit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Most people don't know how.
But yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a YouTube video explaining how.
Actually, there isn't. Funny enough.
What?
Yeah. A lot of agencies, actually, this is even like from a few years ago when crypto. So a lot of them wanted to actually, a lot of crypto companies wanted to do ads on Reddit. So a lot of agencies would come to me to actually learn how to run Reddit ads for crypto specifically a few years ago. But now like a lot of people want to do NFTs as well. But back in a few years ago, NFT wasn't that popular. Now
that tells me it's not oversaturated then. If a lot of
it's
people,
not,
if
not
it's not a
YouTube
all. Video, then it's definitely
not at all. It is to the point where, and I love their teams. I mean, teams in Reddit and Quora, but both of them, when I get on a call with them, they're like, "You're teaching us about NFT marketing." So that's how like their departments, they actually haven't had a ton of exposure to NFT marketers. Or like NFT brands coming in and actually marketing. So a lot of things like I would just figure it out with them. And then I give them a lot of insight and, they actually use it for their product team as well.
Do you find it, I mean, since they're not used to this type of, obviously this type of business, do you find yourself negotiating what the ad is going to cost? So they already had kind of some set prices. And
they have, so typically ad platforms, they typically either charge you per click or per impression.
Yeah.
Per 10,000 or 1,000 impression. But what I found is that the fun part is the regulations. So I'm not going to say like how, but like, for example, on Quora, because I know if I say like, then that may go away. But like on Quora, for example, I recently found this loophole and I told them about it too. I said, hey, listen, like, I know you guys don't want me to take people directly to Discord from an ad. And that's true for all platforms except Instagram at the moment. And that may change too. But I told them, I said, hey, like if I do it this way, would it be okay? And then they went back to their team and they talked about it and they're like, yeah, no one's done it, but you can't do that technically. So then we started doing that, right? So so there's a lot of like rules and regulations that's just changing constantly. And Twitter is like really interesting because like, for example, you cannot have any ads about play to earn games, which is like so big. Right? It's like the biggest thing this year, especially. A lot of brands, like almost every single NFT brands I worked with, they have some sort of play to earn games that are just either in development or it's already been developed. And Twitter is just like completely like no, like completely just like ruling that out. But that's what it is with regulations. It changes all the time.
Yeah, and for anybody that's interested to get in that space, because I don't know what your expertise is on like Facebook ads or like Instagram ads, but people, I don't know. I feel like if you're consistent with something, or if you figured it out, that it's going to work for you. But I've been hearing a lot of complaints about how Facebook ads and Instagram is like either oversaturated or they feel like they don't really get the returns that they want. And so it is good to hear that, there are other options like Quora, which I usually go up there to try to figure out what type of new content people would be looking for. But hey, ads as well, of course. And obviously Reddit, because like a lot of Reddit groups, I'm not even allowed to post like links, Right. They get on me about that. It's like, hey, just content only.
Yeah. So the way the Reddit ads work is like you can literally just target subreddits, so specific communities, and then just show them whatever you want. Like you can show specific members of whatever groups. Let's say there's like a cryptocurrency group or subreddits. You can just literally show them an ad like all of them, all the members, which is like highly targeted, right?
I mean, yeah, especially in a group that is already interested in that topic.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I know I'm shooting it towards the right people. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's pretty awesome. So we got talked about the brands, techniques, as far as we talked about a few techniques to increase, at least increase the price along the lines. So what are you shooting for though? So even though we've talked about techniques, are you saying, hey, look, we're gonna start off with $1, or hey, this is where we're gonna start off at, this is where we're trying to end off at? What's that conversation like?
Price of what? Ads?
Sorry, NFT, the price of the actual
Ah,
NFT.
okay, cool. So typically I like them to start from somewhere around like $500. And then they go, if they want to, they can go higher if they have the budget to like advertise heavily. I'm gonna say if they have the budget to advertise heavily. Let me define that, because that makes maybe no sense to some people. I mean somewhere around like 100K plus. That's what I mean. If advertising heavily, that's what that is. But anything below that, I wouldn't advertise, like I wouldn't want anyone to go just have like large price, like somewhere around $500 is good. And then now the cool thing is like Ethereum is low. Like right now there's a dip. I mean, don't know when people listening to this, but when you have a specific price right now, let's say somewhere around like equivalent of $500, down the line, it's actually going to be more because Ethereum is going to go up.
Yes.
Not financial advice, but it's going to go up. So
how good of an artist do you have to really be for somebody want to buy an NFT? Because I feel like, hey, like if I make something like this, if I'm famous enough, if I have enough influence, then they'll like my little Batman picture and it'll go famous. It doesn't really seem to have, I would say, talent doesn't seem to be attached to these NFTs, more so influence.
Yeah, I would say that's true, but I would say depends. If like there's this painter that everyone knows, right? So like I'm chatting with them, like with their family next week. And like if they actually, so they're gonna have their NFT out soon. If they talk about their NFTs, like they can charge whatever they want and everyone will buy it. Right? Because they're just so well known. There's like a AAA Hollywood legend. He's gonna, you've watched his movies. When he's next month, when he's rolling out his NFTs, like he can, like I told him, I was like, you can charge literally whatever you want. So like there's definitely that, like if you have the influence, you can do that. But if your artwork is like mediocre, or if it's not like world class that everyone knows, or it's like not the best thing in the world, then at that point, you don't have to focus too much on the art. You can just focus on the utilities, like what, being able to hold the NFTs, what that does for you. Like what are the benefits? What memberships you get? Like what, who do you get to meet? Do you get passive income? Do you get to play a game? All sorts of things like that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm geeking out here, man, because I'm thinking about the possibilities of a new hobby.
Cool.
I mean, and obviously for some people, right, people are making, millions, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've seen the success stories on social media, and people, they're like, yo, it's a monkey in a hoodie. Like, why are they making so much money? And I know it's much more than that. It's just that's the one that for some reason got trending. Was the monkey one.
Yeah, honestly, the smallest sellout we've had, this guy made 500K, and typically they're closer to like 3 mil, 4 mil. And this happens in 4 to 6 weeks, or sometimes I would say on average is about 4 weeks. But it's crazy because I worked with all these public companies, large advertising budgets. We wouldn't even be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like it's just so different. So
yeah, and actually, it kind of makes me think about like the artists, right? For years, right. I think being an artist, like if you grew up and you told your dad, "Hey, I want to be an artist," he'd be like, "You need to find yourself a real job," because I don't want you to be a starving artist. But now it seems like being an artist has been revitalized.
100%.
Tenfold.
100%. Yeah. And I love that. I actually was thinking the other day, like all the like relationships I've been with, it's just with an artist. Like I really love art, and like everything in my Discord, people, when they share their videos, they share their artwork, that I just get so excited for them. So I, when I was a kid, I just had that same mentality where I was like, that was just my belief. I was like, like artists are broke. Like that's literally like artists equals broke. Like that's how I think about it, right?
Yeah.
Now that's changing, right? So now artists actually like, I mean, like Beeple, like he sold his NFT for like $69 million, right? I mean, that's really cool. There's some public companies I worked with, they don't even make that much money.
Who's buying this? Who's buying this for 69 million? Or is it a group of people put their money together?
No, they're whales out there. They're sharks out there. You know, they buy these. Yeah.
Yeah, the whales. It's funny how they have like, you know, I haven't looked hard enough to find out what their identity is, but it's just interesting who these whales are. You know, I think about these probably smart 22-year-olds who bought Bitcoin really early, or maybe even Dogecoin, and have so much influence in the crypto market. It's crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I guess if you're gonna buy something for 69 million, you're assuming that you can resell it for 100 million down the road, which would be interesting.
It is. We actually, so yesterday, like I said, we surveyed all the holders of Fragos. So it's one of the brands, again, sold out in 7 minutes. And we asked them like so if they hold 4 plus of the NFTs, meaning they hold 4 NFTs or more, and there's some that hold 10 or more. And I looked at the age. So we asked them like, you know, what age distribution you are. And typically they are 25 to 36.
Yeah, pretty young.
Yeah. And they're just buying like everything. And they're like just really bullish about NFTs. And we asked them why too. And a lot of them were like for, you know, it's different reasons, obviously, like they plant a tree if you stake their NFTs. They also like cool communities, so on and so forth. But a lot of them were saying like, we know this is going to be big. And like these people like literally thinking about how this is an investment, like down the line, this is going to be a lot more money, right? So they're thinking this is like the next, like, I don't know, cyberpunk or whatever. And so like, that's how some of these people are thinking, like they buy 10, 20 NFTs. I mean, that's a lot. I think most I've held like from a brand, and I still do, like it's probably 3 or 4. Buying 10, that's a lot. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it is a lot.
Yeah.
How can somebody flip their NFT and make, you know, 6 figures without much investment? So like, you know, I don't know what's a small investment, $500?
Yeah. They're cheaper than that too. You know, you can
20. I've seen something for like $20, I think.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
But although when you pay gas fees, that's another, let's say $20-$40. So it kind of goes up. But yeah, typically you could do that. But then so I guess this is also his whole conversation, but I'll just give you like a few things. So one is just like sitting at people's Discord channels, or just hiring someone to do that for you if you don't have the time, because that's also very time consuming. And then just figuring out, okay, what are some things they're going to do? Do they have a plan? Do they have a good marketing plan? Are they going to be able to build a community in the next few weeks or so? And then is there going to be any celebrities going to buy their stuff? Because when that happens, the price just jumps. And then the other thing is like alpha groups. So I get this asked a lot. I mean, I get to see brands dashboards and everything before they sell out. So I technically know like if a brand's going to sell out. So I actually go buy myself, right? So I have that alphas myself. But there are actually groups out there on Discord, and there are websites out there, literally like they tell you these alphas. They tell you these information where they're like, hey, like this brand is going to be, the price is going to go up because they're going to do this thing and that thing, right? So you can join those, and just typically these are paid groups. But, you know, it's worth it. You can join them and then just like learn from them. You can literally just go track specific people who are making a lot of money, 5 figures, 6 figures, just see what they're buying and selling, just do the same thing. Because you can literally go on Etherscan, for example, and then just put someone's wallet and just see what they're buying and selling, right? And then just literally do the same thing, same time, everything, just like completely copying it. And then the other thing is like my strategy with buying and selling is just understanding like how much money you want to make. So for me, and this will change over the time, we won't be able to profit like 10 times and 20 times later on, maybe in 6 months or 1 year. But so far, like what I do is like I have like I buy 3 NFTs from every brand, and I say like one that I'm gonna sell like 24 hours after the reveal, one that I sell about 2 weeks later, and then one that I hold just in my wallet. I just hold it. Now, as far as the selling and everything, obviously you just pay attention to everything that's happening around that brand, but also like if you like listen to their AMAs and see like what they're doing, so that's really cool too. But best thing I found, and that like sometimes I see people like fail with this, is that you gotta have, for yourself, you gotta say, okay, this is the price I'm comfortable with selling, and then just don't like change that. So it's just like almost just like gambling, right? Like if you go to like a casino and you say, hey, like I want to make, let's say $10,000 and I want to come out. If you have that for yourself, if you actually say, hey, I'm disciplined enough, when I made that much money, I'm going to leave, right? Then you actually make money. But what happens is people get greedy. So like, for example, I had Alien Friend. I bought it for $500. I sold it for 10K because I told myself, I said, the moment it hits 10K, I will sell it. I don't care if it goes higher up. But now it's going down, right?
Oh,
so
wow.
like some people who didn't sell it, like now it's like a lot lower. So I think that just having that discipline, just say, hey, this is my price. And then that's what I'm gonna do. It's either 5X, 2X, whatever that is for yourself.
So do you find it worth it to hire somebody to flip your NFT for you?
Currently, my sister is doing that. So yeah, I think so.
She's a flipper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that would be something I'm all about automation.
100%.
And so I'm like, okay, I don't have the time to do it myself, but if I'll play around with a $25 NFT and if somebody could flip that to like, I don't know, $500, I'll be happy. I'd be happy with that.
Exactly.
Cool.
Now, there are actually bots as well you can create. So this is something I'm just investigating right now. So you can actually create a robot that actually does that for you. So like it buys at a specific price, sells it at a different price, just like how, like, let's say the stock market, there are robots for it too. Now you can build it for NFTs. So I've actually been talking to a developer about this. It's time consuming for me to like figure it out everything, but that's something I'm actually very interested in to figure it out, because there are a lot of opportunities. I mean, you've seen people buying, let's say, Bored Apes for like $10,000, $5,000. It's actually very common. Yes. It happens very commonly. So if you have the capacity to actually be there at the right time, you can buy these things. And that's something that I'm very, very interested in investigating right now.
No, yeah, that would be a cool idea. I can imagine how that would get very interesting as more and more people figure out how to do that.
Right.
Kind of like the bots that they have for the best comparison I have is when Nike drops a new shoe,
right,
we'll have their bots buying, and then that's why it's like sold out so quickly.
Yep.
So yeah, that can change the game, man. Well, oh man, it's been. I'm gonna have to have you up here for a second time, man, because there's a lot of information that I want to cover. But I want to ask you what I usually ask everybody else is, man, what is your rich state of mind? What's your big why as to why you're doing something like this? This is awesome, man. This is such cool stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So, I mean, obviously I want to have like an amazing lifestyle, doing it with like really cool people. And like there's a lot of like personal reasons. But I think coolest things that has happened is just doing things for other people. I had my parents retired about 1.5 years ago, like completely just like paying for everything they have, buying things for my friends, family. And I think that's like really cool. It's just like a different experience. And then ultimately, this is kind of a made up thing. My friend, we have but I want to build that like $1 billion company. Like that's because why not, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And so so that's also a thing. Like it's made up. There's no personal reason why I need that. Like I don't need the money for it, but it's just like, we're in this universe. We have the resources, infinite power. Why not just actually accomplish big things?
Yeah, you're right. And thank you for sharing that. I think it's definitely possible because this is just NFT space is just getting started.
100%.
So you may find yourself in 6 years, like easily, you have a $1 billion company.
Cool.
So this is pretty cool, man. I'm gonna look into it myself and build up my crypto wallet. And I can't wait for this episode to drop. So thanks a lot, Arvin. I really appreciate your time.
Of course.
Thank you for sticking with us from the start of the episode. Please share our show with friends and family, visit our YouTube channel, and view more of our content on richstateofmind.com. See you next week on the Rich State of Mind Show.